Okay, so hello everybody and welcome to this video here. Now the whole intention of this video here is to have your DJ mix be the best it can be, to make it sound really powerful, to make sure that it's got all this volume it needs, because sometimes when we're recording through through Traktor, Serato or into QuickTime, it's not going to give you the peak level, and also during your mix as well, you'll find that your volumes are all over the place sometimes. Not everybody's like that, but I know some people have said that, oh, my mixes are never as powerful as I want. When I put them onto Mixcloud, they don't sound very loud and the waveform's really low. So that's the whole point of today. So what I would normally say do is, if you once you've imported your actual audio file, you double click on it, go into File, Functions, and then down in Functions you would click Remove DC Offset. Okay, now I've already done that, so I don't need to do that now. So it's not there. But if I was you, if you're using any kind of audio samples or any kind of, if you're importing your mix, do that, because it just gives you a bit more headspace for when you're trying to make your track better and when you're trying to edit it. So it's always good not to be wasting any space once you're finally mastering a track or indeed a mix. So let's get out of that. So what I'm going to do now quickly is I'm going to find where I want to cut it, because I've realised at the beginning of my track mix I was doing a bit of filter work to bring it in, but it sounds very muddy, as you will hear. So I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm just going to cut the track up. Okay, so I want it to be there, so I'm going to cut it about at 3. So let's cut the scissors. We'll get rid of the first bit. We're going to move that back over. Okay, so that sounds less muddy, but it's still filtered. Perfect. So now I'm going to edit the automation, because I would like to have a bit of a fade coming into that. To do that, for everything we're going to do from now on, this is very important. On your stereo out here, right click on it, create track. That just brings it into your window so you can edit the automation from here. So click on A, and stereo out, you can see its displays off. We're going to put that to volume and just click on it, and I want it to come in just before it actually kicks in. So I'd say I cut it there. So right, that's where I would like it to fade into. I'm just going to bring this down just so you can see. So if you do have your any samples of your DJ name you want to add at the beginning during the intro, this is where you could do it. Oh, sorry, excuse me. So it sounds more like this. Perfect. So once we've done that, the whole idea now, we're going to use the channel strip on the stereo out to add anything we need. And the first thing we're going to add is to check whether your mix sounds just as good in mono as it does in stereo, and make sure there's no difference in phase. Okay, so what we're going to do that is, it's an Imagen, and it's directional mixer. In here, now you'll see, I'm not going to keep this on, I will delete this off the channel strip because we don't need this all the time. It's just so you can listen to your track. And I'm just gonna, just gonna loop something here so we can listen to it. So this is the track. You can see the stereo spread. When it's in the middle it's mono, and the further you spread it out, it becomes stereo. Just so you can see the difference see how different it sounds. Okay, so I adjusted the volume, but there's no massive difference there. The sound's still very similar. You're not losing too many harmonics, which is good. So we're going to get rid of that now. So make sure you no plug in that. Take that off. And the next bit we're going to do now is just put a multimeter on, just to see what frequencies we're using the most and which ones we're losing. Okay, so multimeter, I believe it's metering. Yes, it is. So in metering, multimeter, just play your track again on your loop. Okay, I'm just going to move my mix over a little bit more actually, because this part of the track has a lot of random frequencies because it is an intro. Okay, this one here. Okay, so we've got this there. And you can see there that it's quite there's quite a lot of frequencies in there. But we could do with pushing the middle bit just a little bit more, the middle frequencies, which we'll do shortly. So that's good. We'll keep the multimeter on there because it's always handy to have. And the next thing we're just going to add on then, we're going to add on an exciter. So, an exciter is down in specialized stereo. Now, the brighter of the color between here is the color 1 and 2. 1 is the brightest. Now, all you're doing here is adjusting the harmonics, making it sound a bit different. So if I just turn it off for now so you can see the difference. When I add it on, not a massive amount. There's not a huge difference there, but I'm just going to move it around so you can see what's happening whilst I'm playing with it. The whole idea is to make it sound a lot more brighter. I'm just going to adjust this level on here. So the whole idea is to make it sound a bit more brighter and have a little bit more presence, which is what I've done. And the tip about this, and also when we do the multi-press, which is coming up next, is it's small adjustments. You don't want to go crazy with it because that's when it starts sounding muddy and, well, manufactured, if you like. Okay. Okay, we've used exciter. Okay, well now we're going to go down to multipressor, which again, I believe, let me find where that is. I think it's, give me a second. I've forgotten what it is now. Multipressor, there you go. In Dynamics, multipressor. Excuse me. So the whole point of this is it allows you to compress different parts of the track, if you will. So if I just start looping this again, and I'm just going to edit it so you can see what I'm doing. Each part I'm going to solo just so you can hear it. There you go, so you can see the different areas. You can adjust these, moving them over as well. Now the whole idea, I did say when we went into the multimeter, we could actually see that we're losing some frequencies. So, and they were more in the middle. So I'm just going to adjust these just slightly. Remember, same with this as well, little adjustments is all you need. The whole idea is you're just slightly changing parts of your track, okay, just slightly. When we use the multimeter, we could see where we're losing frequencies. This is a great way to make sure that you get them frequencies back to make it look a bit more flatter, if you will. Down here is where you got your thresholds, so you can adjust all of this. You're basically just compressing different parts of the song or your mix itself, okay? So whether you want to compress the low more or the mid, the high, it's up to you. And like I said, you can move these about. So I'm happy with that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is down in the imaging, and it's stereo spreads. Now the whole idea of this is when you're making music and also when you've got a mix as well, the higher frequencies are more what you'd like to have stereo. For the things like your bass and your kick drums and any of those, you know, big punchy parts, you want to be in mono. And as you go up the frequency scale, it goes stereo. So I'm just going to adjust this down to where I think it should be. I'd say about 2%. And then on the over here, we're going to move the lower frequencies. Like I said, we don't want it to become stereo until it gets up higher. I'd say about 5K is about right. And then we'll just bring this down just a little bit as well. So let's see what it sounds like with and without. again, it's all about listening to it yourself. And if you think it sounds silly or it doesn't sound right, then you adjust as needed. So without, with. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Right. And now what I would suggest to do as well, once you've got this where you like it, I'd add an EQ on top. And just as a standard, because mine is quite a dancey mix, I'm just going to go into mastering and just final mix dance. It just adjusts the EQ itself. It's something you can do it yourself, but I find that this works well and makes my sound how I like it. Okay, perfect. Now the final bit, you can see when we're playing the track here, you've got quite a bit of headroom left. Now to get that to its highest point, so when you do play your mix back, it's punching, and it's when you listen to it on Mixcloud, it sounds nice and loud and nice and clear. We're going to go into dynamics and go on to the adaptive limiter. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the gain right down for now, but the whole idea is, well, when you've got this for your threshold, you want the out ceiling. Make sure you set your out ceiling to -0.1. It just means there's no chances of it peaking. Your lock head is fine, standard 50 milliseconds. That's not a problem at all. But I have put the gain right down, and we're going to adjust as needed. You'll be able to see here the input, what's coming in, the reduction, and then the final output. So let's have a look, shall we? Now try not to let your reduction, if you see it's going past 3, bring your gain down slightly, because you don't want it to go past 3. Okay, so you can see here your output is quite high. You're pretty much right at the top. You're at -0.1. Your reduction is below 3, which is good. That's fine. It just means that you're not compressing it too much, and it's still going to sound as good as when you first imported it into Logic. So once you've done this, just bounce out your actual track. So let's see what it sounds like with and without. So without. With. Quite a difference, and you can see you haven't lost anything. It just makes sure that it's got a lot more presence, which is perfect. So I keep all of these on here because it's handy to keep them on, and you know as well, for example, with the multimeter, you've adjusted anything that was missing in the middle by using the multi-press. So you can't see here, but if you moved a multimeter down the bottom, you would see a dramatic increase in your harmonics and also any of the frequencies that you thought you were missing at the beginning. Okay, so if I take all of these off, just to show you that there is a difference, a visible difference. This was what the track sounded like before. And this is it with everything back on. You've increased your level, you've increased your presence, and you've made it sound a lot more excited, if you like, using the exciter. And you can hear the difference between the stereo and mono, and the phase is not a big problem at all, which is great. So it doesn't matter what system they're playing it on, whether it's on their phone or their home system, it's still going to sound just as good. And you've increased the presence and you've increased the volume, so it will be loud on all platforms. So all you need to do now is just make sure that you either set your project end or just do a complete loop of your whole mix. Go into File, Bounce, Project and Section, and then you can save it as you like it and bounce it out as an MP3 if I was you, because most platforms online, especially Mixcloud, they prefer you to have an MP3, and it's a lot quicker to upload. As long as you're doing it at 320, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to lose too much quality for streaming anyway, because it's already going to be compressed. But thank you for watching. I hope this helps. So keep mixing, enjoy your mixes. But this was just a little tutorial. I don't normally do tutorials, but people ask me how I make my mixes sound so loud and powerful, and this is how I do it. So thank you for watching and enjoy your music. I'm sure you will. Take care.